Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to episode 7 of Push Block Paper Scissors. This is going to be the art of pressure, understanding when it's your turn to swing, when it's your opponent's turn to swing, when you should probably look for throws, and when you can kind of rinse and repeat and keep yourself at plus. And again, it all comes down to if you're playing an opponent that's very respectful. If you're playing an opponent that's not respectful, you need to make them respect your plus frames by going for your fastest move. But we kind of covered that in previous episodes, so let's go a little bit more into the decision making. The decision making and the art of pressure in any fighting game revolves around two main factors that I like to call the heart factor and the brain factor. First, let's cover the brain factor or the logic factor, and that's all revolving around data, or in this case, in the case of a fighting game, frame data. Knowing how soon which player is free to move plays a huge role in to when it's your turn to poke and when it's your turn to expect a throw or to expect a mix-up, something from your opponent. And that's how you can kind of dance around certain strings and know when it's your time to apply pressure and rinse and repeat and apply pressure again. The gut feeling or the heart factor is how I sum up those decisions that you need to make by disregarding all logic, disregarding everything about the frame data, and just going for it. It's those decisions that you make when you block something that leaves you at -10 and you say, I'm going to swing with my fastest move, which is normally 6 frames, but now because I'm at -10, it's going to start up in 16 frames after my opponent can move. And if my opponent goes for option A, B, or C, I'm going to lose, but I think he's going to go for option D, and that's why I'm doing it. Another great example of going with the heart factor is when your opponent is Batman and he's got you up against the corner and he does multiple forward threes, forward three, forward three, forward three. If you play solely off the instinct and the school of thought that you need to go by the book, everything logical about this, I'm at -6, I'm at -7, and I will never, ever, ever swing because I'm too scared. If the Batman player knows that, he has no reason to not just keep doing forward three, forward three, forward three, forward three over and over again. The heart factor is being able to ignore the fear of that frame trap. You know, kind of saying to yourself, he could go for this frame trap or he could not go for this frame trap. I think he's not going to go for this frame trap. He wants me to sit here and block, so I'm going to avoid the throw. I'm going to avoid the second forward three or the third forward three, and I'm going to beat him out clean. I go over this a little bit more in the next segment when we're in the training room with an example, just like I explained it. Batman has you in the corner, and he does multiple forward threes. So let's jump into the game. As we covered before, frame data is all about who can move first and how soon they can move. If you're negative after a string or a special move, your opponent can move first. If you're plus, that means that you can move first. Same goes with applying pressure, but there's a little bit more to it. But keep that in mind when you're looking at the decision making that these pro players are going to be doing. All right, so here we have a situation where Batman keeps us in a frame trap right after doing a forward three. Forward three into back two is really no option you can do as long as Batman times that perfectly. So that's going to be the very thing that's driving our fear here. Because you can't press down 1, you get beat out. You can't press down 2, you get beat out. You can't jump out, you get beat out. You can't even meter burn back 3 because it's multiple hitting. Can't do anything else after besides block. You cannot backdash after. You will get hit on recovery. So this is the main thing that everyone's afraid of when they block a forward 3. So what happens when a Batman player has you in the corner and they do this and this and this? You're always scared of that one time where they're going to be doing a frame trap. That one time is going to mean your death. So, you know, if you looked at it from a completely methodical point of view where you think that you're going to get frame trapped every time, you don't want to do anything. But you have to understand, okay, how many times is this guy going to get away with a forward 3? Because you can literally do anything you want. You can meter burn back 3. You can interrupt with down 2. You don't even need anything that fast. You can probably interrupt with stand 3. Yes, logic tells us that back 2-3 is coming. Logic tells us that there is no other option that will get me out of this situation except for block. but you have to realize that they're not always going to test you. They're not always going to frame trap you. You need to challenge when you feel like you should challenge, and that's, not playing with your brain, but playing more with your heart, playing more with your gut feeling, and that's really how you dance around frame traps and frame data when it comes to any fighting game. All right, so match analysis here. This is between Slayer and Theo at CEO. This round is actually a perfect example of playing it by the book and getting beat because of it. Now, Slayer went in with the right presence of mind here, knowing that Theo is a player who plays by the book. But I want to pay attention to this first part right here. As Theo dashes in, Slayer reacts with a down one, knowing that if Theo does press a button after he dashes in, the down one is going to beat it because the down one is a lot faster, and Slayer was very confident with his reactions. So right after the dash in, pay attention to Theo's forearm. He's going in for the forward 2 animation, and Slayer, playing as Black Adam, going for the down one, beating him out clean. Now, taking advantage of the fact that he can move before Theo. Theo, knowing that, knows that he does not want to jump. He does not want to press buttons and challenge because he's going to eat a lot of Black Adam damage, and this was when Black Adam did a lot of damage. So Theo just stood there, and Slayer hit him perfectly with the throw here. Again, Slayer playing very passively, taking his time for some kind of opening here. Theo's not giving it to him. And you'll see sooner or later, Slayer does make he does close the gap here. And when he closes the gap right here, this is the first challenge here. This is Slayer seeing what Theo is going to play like. Right here, when you meter burn the foot dive of Black Adam. Foot dive, dive kick. I call it foot dive because it's 2 feet. And Black Adam is very plus. Black Adam can move way before his opponent can because he just spent a bar. He can't do it over and over again. You got to spend resources if you want something that good. So he's just kind of testing out Theo, seeing what he's going to do. Now Theo, again, the most common reaction from a high-level player, especially if they have the space, is to backdash when their opponent's very, very plus. Again, you can read it with a forward dash and try to punish them, or with any kind of move that will reach them, like a straight grapple or forward 3, anything like that. All right. So now Slayer, again, this is again him putting himself at +6 here with that forward 3. It hits overhead. Theo did not bite, did not move. What he did was he blocked it. Again, Slayer knowing that Theo is the methodical type of player to play very by the book and logically, and there's nothing wrong with that. Grabs him because he knew he wasn't going to press a button. He knew he was going to jump because if he did either of those things, Slayer would have eaten a huge combo. Again, Slayer putting himself at plus, and furthermore, going for another throw here. And Theo, escapes. It's a little bit different on Wake Up. You do get access to invincibility, so Theo thought it was his opportunity to get out. And it repeats itself again. Slayer recognizing that the down one hit, recognizing the tendency that Theo has, the mood that he's playing in, that he's not going to challenge in crazy spots, especially not after you get hit by a raw down 1 from Black Adam, which is +10 on hit, -4 on block. So it hit him. Slayer was able to move 10 frames before Theo, and because Theo knew that he had this, he could not move for 10 frames while Slayer was free to move, Theo said, you know what, the best course of action is to just block. Slayer knew Theo was thinking that and goes for the back throw to put Theo back in the corner. Theo looking for some kind of Superman punch, and that was the round that Slayer beat Theo with, all because Theo played by the book very methodically and with nothing but brain. Sometimes you do have to challenge. If Theo challenged in any of those spots where Slayer decided to go for a throw, if Theo neutral jumped, if Theo pressed forward 2, that would have been a completely different round, but Slayer just had the perfect read on Theo. All right, so this is the same set, Theo and Slayer. Now this is going to be a situation where Theo decides to challenge and it pays off. Right there, as soon as Slayer cancels into that trait after the forward 1-2, he is extremely advantageous. That means he can move way before his opponent can. You guys can take it to training room yourself, hold, do the cancel hold up as a record, and then block it and try to see it. Actually, I can kind of show you guys right now, hopefully. Let's see. All right, here we are in training room. Now, this is Black Adam canceling into the trait. And then me trying to challenge with down 1. So normally, again, if you can, and you guys can see right here how plus he is, at least with a visual cue, I'm going to block it and then jump. Do you see how much sooner Black Adam can jump before I can? He left the floor way before I did. So that kind of signifies and shows you how plus Slayer was in that situation. But again, Theo challenging, getting the first bar, and, you know, holding on to the momentum here. It's all about adapting and understanding the situation. You don't always have to fight with your head. I mean, I guess this is a form of fighting with your head, but just because the data and on paper tells you not to press down 1 when you're at a negative 5, 4, 6 frame advantage doesn't mean you should never, ever do it. All right, so here we have a scramble. This is the ender to this amazing set. So if you guys have not seen the set in its entirety, I strongly suggest that you do so. This is Slayer, again, going up against Theo at CEO. Slayer finds himself a little bit closer to the corner, and he has to hold on to this barrage of attacks here by Theo. Again, let's break it down. Here, as soon as he goes into that trait cancel from the forward 2-3, Theo is very plus. He can move way before his opponent can. So what's Slayer going to do? He's not in a challenging mood. He decides to sit here and block. Okay, Theo's got him in the corner, and he's got a sense that Slayer does not want to do much here in this situation. So Theo goes for his rather slow meter burn forward 3 here. Slayer blocks correctly. Now, Superman's forward 3 is actually +7 on block. That means that Superman can move 7 frames before his opponent can when he forces him to block this move. So again, what's Slayer going to do? He decides to actually do nothing, but the process that was going on through Theo's head was, in a lot of cases, especially if you look back at what Slayer did to Theo before, after he made him block Black Adam's forward 3, which is very similar, he went for the throw. So Theo thought, okay, I'm going to fake go for a throw. So Theo walks forward slightly, pretends that he's going for a throw, and looks for a shimmy. Slayer so committed to the idea of just blocking and not moving, not going for a tech throw, not going for anything. So this gave Slayer the opening here. Once Theo did that 2-2-3 string, Theo is at -4, and now Slayer is free to press a button and start his offense. And he actually does take this because he knows exactly when to challenge, when to go for low lightning. And this one was probably one of my favorite pop-offs of the entire IPS season 1, where Slayer just looked like he was going to jump through the ceiling. And he just collapses after that grueling set between him and Theo. And this was the debut of Theo. Theo, a great Injustice 1 player, kind of disappeared for MKX and then came back so strong in CEO. This is the event where Theo actually 3-0'd Sonic Fox earlier before running into Slayer in this set. But again, that's just kind of like a play-by-play of all the decision-making that went and happened in that set. Right, now this is another match. This is actually another Theo match where he goes up against, let's keep it the same. Let's keep it Black Adam and Superman. So here, Theo decides to cancel his forward 2 into trait, leaving him pretty plus, and, you know, Dragon just kind of frisky and living on the edge of danger, decides to just challenge right there. And Theo is not expecting it. Theo probably going for a throw or, you know, anything else besides just meeting him with down 1. But, you know, they scramble in the neutral. Theo does get a hit, Dragon all the way to the corner here. Now, watch again when Theo challenges him again right after this combo. He's going to put him in forward 2-3, goes into the trait. Now, what do you think Dragon's going to do? Do you think Dragon's going to sit there and respect it? No. Last time he decided to poke out, so Theo said, okay, I know I'm plus, so I'm going to poke you. Stop it. Because of the frame advantage there on down 1 successfully hitting, Theo does go for a throw. Luckily for Dragon, he does tech out of it. However, Theo is able to close this out with a few more good plays in the neutral here. And really, that was That was Theo poking when he probably shouldn't have been poking after that EX dive kick. Right there. He was looking for something, and, you know, Dragon being able to move way before his opponent can was able to walk out of the down one range. Maybe Dragon knew he was going to go for it, walks out of the down one range and meets him with a back two. Again, it's all about studying your frame data and knowing how to use it and manipulate it. Right there, Theo being a little ballsy is himself after those plus frames. He was trying to do something besides block, but he did have a pretty good handle on it. And, you know, this game, this specific game 5 right here in this set, there's a lot of great examples of how to apply pressure and how to really know when it's your turn to swing. Theo looking to bait out some kind of backdash there from Dragon. Unfortunately, Dragon didn't give it to him. And, you know, that was pretty much just a read there by Dragon, seeing the zap from the lasers coming in, feeling like Theo was going to do anything to kind of start some kind of zoning game there. Luckily, a huge lucky trade there for Theo. Doesn't get a full combo of the foot dive. I'm actually waiting for this to get into the corner. Okay, right here. This is where Dragon really implements. This is how you can kind of rinse and repeat strings that leave you at plus once you know that your opponent's a little too respectful for it. Here he is at plus at the end of that string, and now if Theo were to go for a down one in that situation, he would have been able to beat out Dragon clean, no problem, because that first move is a high. That stand one is a high. And then he goes for another plus string. Again, Theo not challenging there. This time Dragon was looking for a challenge because he did meet him with a down one right after. But the point is that he got to kind of swing again when he probably shouldn't have been able to. Right here, he decides to challenge Theo, you know, with a very fast 6-frame down one. And this is actually a great scramble here. Nothing really to do with pressure towards the end of this game. I just think this was a magnificent game 5 in the IPS Season 1. These guys pretty much go for everything. Dragon decides to try to cash in with his super. Not sure if he just got a little bit nervous, but it does look like it's all over for Dragon. He does connect the throw here. I'm just going to let it rock and let you guys watch it if you haven't seen it. Theo desperately gets that last clash. You know, it was do or die. He was forced to do it. He had no bar, no nothing, and it really came down to that very last and final play here. That down 2, beating out the Air 1, which everyone says the Superman is the best. But guys, this was the art of pressure. I hope you guys learned a little bit about, you know, frame data when it's your turn to swing. If you have any comments or questions or concerns, please leave them in the comment section below. You guys can follow me on Twitter, on YouTube, or on Twitch at Darth Arma. Thank you so much for watching.